Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Cang-Toys CY-MINI05, their Thorgorilla Mini, or Thor Mini that they're calling it. And this is their take on a Legend scale version of Predaking. And we're going to take a look at this guy. We are going to compare it to the Masterpiece version, of course. And is it just a shrunk down version? But CY-MINI05 did send this over to me to take a look at as a review sample, and I will be letting you know what I think about the build quality and all of this good stuff. But I do have a link down below where you can get this yourself if you want to order one of these from CY-MINI05. But let's get on and take a look at Thorgorilla Mini coming up. All right, here's the packaging. There is the box, kind of a shiny, reflective looking box, similar to what they did with their Masterpiece, except this is even shinier and more of a red to it. You can see the actual product embossed on it. Is that kind of what they call the way that looks? It's hard to see. Got to get the shine on it just right. But yeah, it feels and looks pretty high quality and premium for packaging. But let's get in and look at the figure. Alright, so here is the figure in all of its splendor, and I've got to say that some of the things carried over from the Masterpiece to this that I think they did really well. The paint is one thing. So you do have this gold now. It's kind of a metallic gold, but it's not really shiny, but I do like the accents on it. But what really gets me is how tiny they are able to get the accents for the Legend scale. So these tiny little accents that are on there. Now they sort of did that with really thin lines and really thin paint lines on the Masterpiece ones, but right here, and then we've just got it all over. Just great little small paint apps that look really sharp. They look really good. Got that red right in there. So and then of course with a lot of these smaller panels that they have, they've got them painted really well too. So they do a great job with heating up all the paint. Now there's like an 05 on it right on the side there, but it's not like it's super shiny though, so it's got a sheen to it, a bit of a sheen to it. You can see some of the tamper graphic on there too. So, but yeah, I mean, they did a pretty good job with the paint, and overall, I think it looks really good. And another thing about this right now is I'm feeling it feels really solid. All the joints, nothing loose or floppy at all on this guy. So I do like that about it when they do stuff like that. And again, more paint apps right here. It does look visually interesting and stimulating. Let's come with these two accessories. He has this gun right here, which is well painted up, so they don't put anything out that's just bare bones plastic. So there's some silver accents, some gold accents. In itself, it does kind of have a flecked look to it and a nice sheen to that gun. Over here, we have this spinning blade, and this weapon, this accessory, I really don't know what you'd call it. It's got some silver accent paints right there for the spikes, and itself is kind of a metallic red. Feels like something a Junkion would have as a weapon, oddly enough. Just interesting that they've got it, and of course with the rotating saw blade in it. But yeah, those are the accessories that he comes with, weapons that he can use. Getting into the articulation of this guy, I do want to point out, and I didn't point out before, the light piping in the head. So the whole back of the head's got that clear translucent, so that the top part and the eyes can kind of glow a bit, which it's not really going to show up here unless I got a flashlight. I don't have a flashlight right here, so okay, I say that, and of course I've got a flashlight right here, but yeah, I guess it shows up anyway. So the head's on a ball joint, side to side, up and down, and yeah, quite a bit of range there. Shoulder. Now you have these shoulder pads. This is something they've done in the past too, is have these shoulder pads for the other one. It goes out to here, and then it's on a ball joint, so it does pretty much all of that. And then you can just get this out of the way as far as you want. Now here's the thing. Now this is something, and I'm not really a huge fan of. We do have the bicep swivel, which is very tight. But I don't really like all of the kibble put on the forearm like this. But I do think that this is better for the transformation. And really, if you get it displayed like this, you don't really see it so much. But from the side, you do see all that kibble is right there. You do have the waist swivel, and I don't feel any ab crunch in this guy at all. You do have these little tiny hip flaps in here that go like so, and then you can kick it forward, not all the way. You should be able to get a little more than that. Yeah, right there. And then pretty much all the way to the back. And then to the side. And feel how tight that is. And so it's not ratchet, of course, it's Legends. And then thigh swivel is cut right, it's kind of in the middle of the thigh right there, which is fine. And then is it double jointed on that knee, but you don't really get the full range of a double jointed knee. And then of course the ankles, lots of range in that ankle, pretty much whatever you would need, and some toe tilt, because I think the toe tilt is kind of doubling because of the transformation, but still you get a lot of articulation out of this little bulky guy. All right, so this is always challenging, trying to compare a Legends to a Masterpiece, and for this I think it's probably the most important is trying to say what did the Masterpiece version look like versus the Legends version, since it was the same company going for pretty much the same thing. And in my mind I thought, oh yeah, they're just gonna make the exact same thing smaller, but it's completely different, completely re-engineered, as you can see with just the way the shoulders look. And I'm not sure if I'm getting this with a good enough angle on this guy, but shoulders are completely different. The forearms are completely different, as you can see right there. And the weapons, accessories are different. The back, the lower legs, everything is just so much different on these. And I think they still both look pretty cool. I don't know if I liked one more than the other. I do like the arms and the way they did the arms on this better than on this one. But still, they had to definitely do something different to make it smaller. There's no way they could have just made it, I guess, shrunk down, because that's what I thought they were going to do, but it is way different. Okay, since he is Legends, how does he scale with your Legends figures? And that is how he scales with your Legends figures. And so with that, I think it's about right, I guess. This character is kind of created out of a necessity for a waist piece that holds together and works really well. So that was my understanding of what this whole Monkey Pants guy is all about, but fits well in the scale, in my opinion. And there he is next to a G1 Predaking, and I really am looking forward to when companies start doing ones based off the original G1. I do want to say, for me personally, when it comes to the G1 Predaking, I never liked this toy as a toy, and I really like to see other companies reimagine this character in better version than what we got with the G1 toy, but this one is definitely a much more stylized take. Alright, so now for transformation of this guy, we are going to move these hip flaps up and then the butt flap out, and then we are going to rotate him around. Now, he does kind of get stuck right here, so I'm wondering if popping this out can give it a little bit of help to alleviate the getting of stuck right here, which is interesting that happens. So maybe we should get the head out and do the head before all of this, but since it does kind of change the dynamics as you're rotating it around right there, I kind of went back past it, but then you have to pull all this out to get the head out. So anyhow, let's go ahead and get that gorilla head out of there. Yeah, I'm ashamed. I got a tool. I'm using a tool, or being a tool, one way, shape, or form, or another. And so, yeah, great stuff. Okay, so put these into place. They will tab in like so. And then with his waist piece in alignment now, we can put all this stuff down into place. Now this seems to, right here, the tabbing in of this back into place seems to be a little odd once you got the head on there. Let's see why I can't get that tabbed right in, just in place there. These pieces here have tabs and slots to go on that, and it kind of works with sort of pushing that in like so. So there we go. All right, so now we've got that part done. Let's go ahead and get into his arms, and it's the typical fold up and put the hands in kind of piece, but then you've got the other one to come out, and there is kind of a notch system right here. A little far from the camera on that one. And then you can turn the arm, so we got that pose, and that works really well. And the same thing on the other side. So open this up, get this gorilla fist going, pull this down, put that in there, flip it to the side. So you have the pose going on. Then we need to turn the leg around like so. And then we are going to fold this out. Now you got this like extra articulation on here, and so this is going to fold in like so on this, and it should have these two tab points to tab into those two slots. So let's see if we can get that. There it goes. There it goes. That's nice. That's pretty nice. And then the foot, you're going to pull this out and then rotate it around. Let's see. What's the best way to go? Like so. And then we're going to put the old toe as a heel. Don't be a heel. And then we're going to use this little tab to pop that up. And so we've got this going on. So same thing on the other side. Open this up and fold it up to sort of work into it. And then we're going to flip out this toe of the foot, rotate it around, create a new heel. I don't know why. This side, I feel like everything for the foot is a little bit more challenging than the other side, which is kind of strange. You'd think they'd be equally the same, more or less. And I had this back. So the back doesn't really tab in as well as I would like, but keeping it independently floating there. And then, let's see, then something with these guys right here. I'm not sure. It doesn't feel like they really do a whole lot different, but there that is. But then you do that and you disconnect this, but it's still a good looking monkey mode. I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit, but we're pretty much there. But yeah, let me give it a little bit of work there, and then we'll come back and look at it. All right, so here he is in his monkey mode, and I think that is a gorilla mode, but I think he looks pretty good. And so with that, I don't really think about it so much and how much the figure is going to change getting into this mode and looking different than a humanoid kind of deal, but he does look a lot different. So kind of interesting on how they went about all of this. And of course, you're going to carry over a lot of the articulation. And I think it's a little strange, though, because you have the independent floating shoulder pads and then, of course, the arms. So you're going to be a little limited with this, but your limitations are kind of the same limitations that a monkey would probably have. So this back piece, I don't understand how it tabs in very well. Let's see. Maybe I've got the head in wrong or something. But it tabs in really well in bot mode. And I guess that's because of the way the head fits in there, but not as well in the monkey mode. But it doesn't really make a difference. It's just one of those things. And the only real time you notice it is if you're posing the head and doing stuff with the head. But you got a lot of movement and in the head. You have this joint, of course, the transformation joint. It goes up really high if you want it to, and then down low. So it does make for a pretty good looking gorilla. These don't really tab in either, but I mean, those are really minor complaints, but it looks pretty good as a mechanical kind of ape. And so when it comes to Beast Wars, I prefer the Transmetal Beast Wars. So that in my mind, this is kind of what I'm thinking of when I think of this kind of a Transmetal kind of Beast Wars kind of look to it. And that is the way it feels to me. And so, but anyway, yeah, all around looking pretty good. Articulation though, you're not going to get much out of these arms. You don't need to really. The legs, you can get them a little wider if you want, and there's that for a wider stance, but not a ton of articulation in this mode. But yeah, you can do what you want, but pretty much anything you do is going to start either breaking up the transformation a little bit, or just it's not going to quite look as good. But yeah, it looks okay. Let's see how it looks with some comparisons. Here he's alongside with a Masterpiece Optimus Primal. I do like the sort of metallic look to this, and that kind of brings into the nature, like with the Dinobots. I like the toy look of the Dinobots the most, and with that, I was not a huge fan of how they did Beast Wars back in the day, but I kind of like the direction they're going now with the Masterpiece line. Here is next to the New Age Grimlock, which Legend scale. In my mind, these are sort of along the same vein in a way, kind of going for, yeah, it probably would be better to do a Dino mode comparison, but they're going for sort of the same sort of look or aesthetic, in my opinion, because of the fact that this is kind of the toy look, and I still kind of feel the same way about this. I feel like this is along the same way as vintage toy Dinobots, but just a little bit more of a stylized look. But if you look at just kind of the coloration of it, and I'm not able to quite get the light to shine on it just right, but if you look at the colors of it and all of that and the way it flows, it does have that G1 Dinobot feel to it. It's not a dinosaur though. And next to Megatron Optimus, just so you know kind of how he scales when he gets to this mode, and that's how it looks. Alright, so that's my look at the Thorgorilla Mini, and what do I think of this guy? I think that they actually did a good job. They built him really well. He feels very solid. For a Legends figure, I'm actually a little impressed with the fact that they completely redesigned him from what they did with the Masterpiece version. And I do think that the colors look good. I think that every aspect of his articulation works in bot mode. Gorilla mode, really not so much articulation. But the one big factor, well, there's actually two, is that you have to have this guy to combine them. So I didn't do the go to the monkey pants mode because of the fact that I don't have anything to interact with it. I don't have any way to connect it to any other characters. I don't have any others. I just have this one. But what it is, I like it. I think it looks pretty good. Now, for me personally, I would love to see a G1, a very G1-esque version made, but improved and to be way better than what they did with the original. But this set appears to be really, really good. Solid. It's a quality figure, and it looks great for the stylized look that it has going on with it. I love the paint and the accents and all that. But anyhow, if you are building this set and you're getting the only Predaking being made for the Legends scale, then you can get this at Shozy. I'm going to have a link down below where you can get yours. Like and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this guy. Tydeer, hang around.